That a miracle. Yeah.
So, here we are. Good morning, everyone. Andre and Monica both knocking on your door and waking you up on Saturday, the 1st of June. And you will have heard by the time you watch this little video that Andre and I are both taking much needed weekend, and Andre a little bit longer break to get to see a different side of life for a little short while. So Rob and I will be away for the weekend, and Andre and Murray for the week. And not to be put off anymore, we decided we're going to do a quick recording for you to keep your minds focused. Just on the housekeeping side of things, we are on the month end weekend. And so essentially from Monday, after this recording is finished after we have finished this little talk with you, we start the month of June. Now this week, Andre and I got into conversation, as we often do on various subjects, and this time it was about goal setting and targeting in terms of our own personal points for the month. And we were talking about how important it is for each and every one of us to learn to stretch and to predict, even if we don't think we can reach a particular point. If we don't aim high enough, we're not going to reach even to as high as we would like to go. And I think you get the gist of what I'm about to say. And so for my part of this recording, what we are going to ask you to do for homework, here comes the teacher mode again, Andre, but I'm very serious with all of you because this is the personal growth part of our business, and we expect you. If you want to switch off now, you can, to listen to a number of little videos we're going to put up from two of the great experts on network marketing, one being a Jim Rohn and the other Eric Warren. And also there's a little short extract from John Maxwell that we would like you to read. The John Maxwell starts, "Why don't we do the things we should do in order to grow?" And our list of excuses could be endless. We might try to blame the things we don't have: enough time, energy, money, skills. But often the biggest thing standing between us and our development is a failure to realize that growth is not an automatic process, it's active. And so that's what we're encouraging you to get a little bit more active and see the growth that will happen to yourself on a personal level and in your business. So Andre, without much more ado, Andre is also going to share something else we are asking you to consider doing over the next short while. Thank you, Andre.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, Monica and I are in teacher mode. But I do want to preface it all by saying that whatever we say, we are speaking to each other. So I'm speaking to Monica, Monica's speaking to me, and I speak for myself. I'm speaking to myself as well. So we all need to have this reminder on a regular basis, because it's very, very easy to slip into the least best version of ourselves. And that's not what we want to be. So I don't know how many of you have met or heard speak a wonderful, iconic lady in the neo-life world. She's pushing 80 at the moment. Her name is Anna Maria Riccardi. She's Italian. She's as colorful as one can imagine Italians to be. And she has given wonderful talks over the years, including in person in South Africa. And some of the most memorable talks I've ever heard were given by Anna Maria, because she just had a wonderful turn of phrase, and it was very punchy, but also very funny the way in which she did it. And so one of the things I remember, one of the stories, was that she speaks about when she joined Neolife, well, 40 years ago. In fact, longer ago than Rory and Nola. So it's over 50 years ago. And apparently her husband was a pilot, and the co-pilot on a particular flight invited her husband to a presentation of Neolife. It wasn't called that at the time. And the husband came home to his wife and he said, "We've been invited. I've said we'll go, but just remember, it's not me who's looking for a job. I'm fully employed. It's you who wants to earn some pocket money," because she was stuck at home with kids, and she was getting a bit disgruntled. So off they went, and they were shown the circles and everything else. And like most people, she said she hadn't the foggiest clue of what was going on, but she said to her husband, "I want to join." And he said, "Yes, that's fine. You know, I'll stump up the money, but remember, it's not me, it's you who wants to do this thing." So anyway, she joined with enthusiasm, and then she started talking to people. And then she found out that it wasn't quite as easy as she had imagined, because she thought Joe would leap at the opportunity, and Susan was just waiting for her to be invited, and so on. And so a month later, whenever the next big meeting was held in Rome, she went to the meeting with the express idea that she was going to resign. So she went to the man who had done the original presentation where she had joined, and she said, "This business doesn't work, I'm resigning." And he said, "Oh, well, that's very interesting indeed. Tell me a bit about this." So she said, "Well, you said all I've got to do is talk to people, and you know, I'll find people that will be interested in joining, and it will be wonderful. And I've talked to everybody, and nobody's interested. So you lied to me." And she might well have used those words, but I don't know. And so he said, "Well, that's very interesting. That's not been my experience. Tell me who you spoke to." So she said, "Oh, well, I spoke to Ricardo, who has a public swimming pool. And I went and showed him how he could use LDC in the pool. And I poured the whole bottle of LDC into the pool, and his pool went up in bubbles, and he was definitely not interested." And then I spoke to Michael, and he sells watermelons, and he looked at me as if I was nuts, and he says, "What do I want to do with that business? I sell watermelons." And she listed all these people she had spoken to, and she realized very quickly that it was about 5 people. So he said to her, "Well, gosh, you know, in that case, I don't think you can do this business, because if 5 people is everybody, well, then you've got a real problem." And she, of course, was embarrassed by that, and she realized that she wasn't doing enough to make it work. And so she left the meeting and decided she would give it more of a go. And she became one of the top distributors in Italy. It didn't take her terribly long. It was a change of mindset. And so it's a wonderful story, because when we stop and look at what it is we are actually doing, we hold in our mind what we think we are doing, but when we measure it, we may be surprised. We may be pleasantly surprised, but I doubt it. And so what I want to invite us all to do, Monica and myself included, is to take a look again at something called a success tracker sheet. We will post it for you. We presented this to you all in the first half of last year. It was part of a 90-day push. But what it is to take a look at your own daily activities, and you give yourself points for these things. So one of the things is actually, have I used one of the products today? Now, for most of us in this meeting, the answer for that is yes. So we can put 1 point for 7 days for the week. and we've earned 7 towards whatever total we're going to get. The others are about, have I spoken to anyone today? Have I followed up with someone today? Have I spent a little bit of time, even if it's only 15 minutes, on personal development every day, etc., etc. And so at the end of the week, you can give yourself a score and you can see exactly what it is you are doing, but more importantly, what it is you're not doing. Now that is that's taking self account, looking at yourself honestly and saying, well, am I doing enough to grow this into a proper business? If I were a person with a shop, would this little bit of effort make the shop work? And the answer would be no, if it's a little bit of effort. And I know, I can tell you already that I'm going to be ashamed of myself when I do this for myself, because days pass where I've done nothing except use the product, and a bit of personal development. I guess I'm quite good at that. But in terms of the stuff that matters, I'm not very good about it. I have to face that. And if I want to get to the next step and be consistent at my next step, I'm going to have to do that. So we're going to invite you to do this for yourself, starting for June, each week. And you can start, I'd suggest you start on Sunday this week. And so every Sunday as it rolls around, you can take a look at the week that's gone by. The next invitation I'm making, and this is voluntary, but I strongly recommend it, and Monica and I will share our sheets with one another, but I suggest that you undertake to share your sheet or your results with your upline and just say, okay, this is what happened last week. We can chat a little bit. We can talk about ideas or strategies to improve something that needs improving, or so on. So it's taking the accountability one step further. For now, that's voluntary, but the self-accountability is of primary importance, because it's a real wake-up call, a check-up from the neck up, or whatever it is you want to call it. And if you have in mind this year, and it's very doable, to become a director in your own business, you have to do this. You have to see what it is you're doing, what it is you aren't doing enough of, and work out a way in which you can do more to get to that particular goal. So that's the one thing. And the other thing is consistency. Some people are worse at it than others, and I can do a whole talk on why that is. There's science behind it. But some people just are thoroughly consistent, day in, day out, week in, week out. They're not doing enough, but they're at least doing what they do consistently. And other people have a rush of blood to the head and do something for about 3 days, and then they exhaust themselves and they put their feet up for 10 days and they go backwards. And so if you take account of your own recording on your own sheet, you can see whether you are consistent or not. And if you are not consistent, it's extremely important to become consistent, even at the lowest level. At least do these things consistently and not have big gaps in your sheet. Personal development, just as an example, if you listen to this recording on Saturday and do what we've asked you to do, that's personal development for Saturday. And then you do absolutely nothing till next Saturday, when we perhaps get you to try something. It's just not enough. It's not consistent. So those are the two things we are asking you to do, is to take a look at what goals you are setting for yourself, And it's, I just want to go back to the goals. It's the goal setting because that drives your motivation. And the other is to keep a record of what it is you're doing. So take account of what you're doing and then make sure you make it adequate action to get to the goal that you're aiming at. And the third thing is consistency. As far as goals are concerned, I think too many of us work on the assumption, or we do this kind of thing at the end of the month. We've just made our lowest goal. You know, I am a 250 pointer. A week before month end, there are 150 points in my team. And so now all I'm trying to do is to somehow make it 250 points. So it's a catch-up game all the time. Or I'm a 1,000 pointer. And am I going to eke out 1,000 points by some miracle because some people in my team come to the party last minute and then I heave a sigh of relief or whatever. And so we never grow because we're always playing catch up for the lowest possible goal that we can have just to feel relatively pleased with ourselves. If you are a 250 pointer, your goal should at least be 500 points. How you do that, I mean, we know what to do. There's no rocket science. We know the actions to take. But if you look at whether you are taking the actions or not, you will probably find that you're not. Because if you were, you would probably hit the 500. And there was a time, I don't know if you remember, Monica, where you said to me, I don't know how I'm ever going to hit 500. I mean, it just seemed like an impossible task. Now you are very disappointed if you're looking like not doing 4,000, and you usually do, but you really are aiming at 6. You know, so Monica's goal is 6, not 4, because 4 is the lowest minimum for Monica. And so we've all got the goal that we've got to aim at, every single one of us, even, may I add, Rory and Nola, because their month end depends on whether they have hit the targets that they have set for themselves in their team. That's the way it works. That's the way any business works. So that's Andre in serious mode.
Well, Andre, you know, having you in serious mode is always useful. Thank you. And I'm not targeting 6, Andre. It's a little bit higher than that, actually.
Well, okay, that's great. I mean, you're targeting 10, actually.
Yes, but be that as it may, can I just quickly summarize before we finish off, because we're going to close this quickly so you don't waste any more of your time. So we're very, very, very determined, and my favorite word at the moment is courage, encouraging. Courage is just going through my head all the time. Encouraging you to have the courage necessary to build your own little business into a great big business. We're starting off, we're giving you some personal development tasks to do during the week, which is to listen to Eric Warrer and Jim Rohn. And then there will also be this success tracker sheet, which we ask you to please take seriously. And don't be upset if it doesn't all come together at the first attempt. We all need to improve, and it's only through practice. Practicing, we're using our products, we've got to talk to more people. And that is where the tracker sheet will help you a great deal. When you find that you've got a block, then you talk to your upline and we work through it together. Andre, I think that's about it for today. And then just to finish off, I also just wanted to mention that we are now starting the second half of the year. And I know it's 7 months because we're starting with June or whatever it is. But it feels like we'd be going into the restart, even and tying in with the election and everything else. So let's restart it strongly. And I know that on this call today, there are people who will be listening to this who have expressed their great deep desire to be directors. Let's see what we can do to make that happen before the end of the year. So have a great month end, everybody. It will finish off, I think, on Tuesday. Andre, is that right? The warehouse is open on Saturday in Johannesburg. And please watch out for all the meetings that we share on the WhatsApp group. And all keep warm because winter is here. Anything more, Andre?
No, I hope you have a good retreat this
Thank you.
weekend,
Thank you.
and
And you
I
too.
will send you some photos of the seaside
You
while
will.
I'm there.
You will. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. Take care. Lots of love.